Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art Thibert. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art Thibert's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually, or together as a bundle. Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now, on Indiegogo.
What is up, everybody? How are you doing on this fine Saturday, depending on where you are in your neck of the woods? My name is SHANTH ENJETI. This is SHANTH ENJETI Art, and I'm coming to you live, a little bit undead, from the heart of Lovecraft country, in the birthplace of American religious liberty. And guys, I am excited to see you. We've got an exciting weekend in independent comics ahead of us with the launch of Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex 3, folks. I am a big fan of that series. I like kaiju, I like, combat sports, particularly boxing, and I'm really excited about that book, and I hope you guys are excited too. And at the same time, I spent yesterday evening, and I even fell asleep to it and then woke up to it in the morning, getting myself acquainted with the audiobook of The Complete Solomon Kane by R.E. Howard. And one of the pleasant little surprises that I had as a result of that was I'm listening to this incredibly well-written introduction to R.E. Howard and who he was as a person. And then at the end of it, I realized the introduction... I don't know if you hear those sirens, but I think they're coming for us, folks. At the end of the introduction, I realized it was written by H.P. Lovecraft. So there you go. My favorite author writing an introduction to my new favorite character, I think, in fiction. Solomon Kane. So it's been an incredible time. But let's see who we've got here, guys. Let's see who we've got here in the chat. We've got channel member Spaceman. Good to see you, channel member Spaceman. We have got Timmy Mello. We have got Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. We have got, let's see, where are we? Oh, my screen. Hold on a second here. My screen is all off for a minute there. We have got, I've seen Stephen Rockwood, the Alpha, the Omega channel member. Stephen Rockwood, it's good to see you, brother. We've got Michael, who was in the chat first. It is great to see you, my friend. Let's see who else we've got here. We've got Awesome One just coming in the last minute, under the wire, but right on time as always. It's great to see you. Absolutely, man. Yeah, we'll have to do another movie soon, I think. But yeah, we need to do, are you asking about the Solomon Kane movie? Or are you asking about which of the many movies could be happening? Could we be talking about? So yeah, so I was incredibly excited listening to those audiobooks, and just, I mean, the more I got introduced to the character, I've heard of the character before, and I had a barely an understanding of the character, but I really got an understanding of who Solomon Kane was from Razorfist's video that he did that was just sort of an overview of Solomon Kane. And he kind of got me thinking, I want to go check out that movie, because he said, it's not, right on the books, but it's actually got a little bit of the flavor to Solomon Kane. And those books are dynamite, guys. Absolute dynamite. Oh, yeah, you missed Thursday. We didn't do a watch-along because I'm trying to find a movie. I keep getting claims from music in the movie and when I do the 60s movies, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm finding things. I mean, I can dispute all this stuff, but it's not a strike or anything like that. But I'm just trying to watch myself a little bit because it's annoying to have to deal with that stuff. So we're going to be doing it again soon. I just got to figure out what's the best way to do it. Let's see here. Timmy Mello saying, speaking of kaiju films, don't forget to ring that like and subscribe bell for the regulars and especially the lurkers out there. Yes, guys, make sure you ring that bell. That is if you're new here, especially subscribe and ring that bell. But if you haven't checked to see if you have all notifications on, make sure you do. Make sure they haven't turned them off for you, because that is the number one way that YouTube determines whether or not you're actually interested in the content. And comments, funny enough, also important, leaving comments once the stream is over. And speaking of people who never miss an opportunity to leave a comment on anybody's channel to help fight back against that algorithm, it's Cranberry Landers. It's great to see you, channel member, OG, and Rockstar. So yeah, I've been working on Nosfero 2, the cover for Nosfero 2, and the Second Chance campaign for the first Nosfero book is coming up on the 20th. And, this story for book 2 is just, I'm really excited about it. I'm over the moon excited about it, and I'm over the moon excited about the artwork I'm doing. And the image that you see me working on right here is going to be offered as a print when you back, the same with the same size, the 8.5 by 11, prints that were the same size of the book that I did for Nosfero 1. You will have an opportunity to do an add-on of this artwork as a print, because the thing about it for me is I want to get people excited about the sequel book, and this cover right now is one of the best paintings I've ever done, and it's certainly, when I got the Nosfero book 1 cover done, and I was looking at it, and then I saw it when it came printed, I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do a cover for book 2 that I like as much as I like this cover, because there's a lot of stuff in here that, I was really into and excited about to put in this on this cover. And all of a sudden, I don't even know exactly when it happened, I started getting ideas for this cover, or thinking I had to at least start contemplating what I was going to do once I had the story, and things just went completely crazy. And I'm loving this cover now. It's one of my favorites. What's up, Scottsley? Long time no see, my friend, and Gen X Catholic, man. It's been a minute, and it's great to see you, brother. How you doing? But yeah, I started working on this thing, and the cover for this, and I have to make this a print for the Second Chance campaign. I want to make sure I do all of that stuff. But right now, the thing that has been really cool to be exploring is the new character that's going to be in this book. So there is going to be a brand new character and an expansion of all of the cool stuff in Nosfero's world when you get book 2. And getting book 1 is the start of the introduction to how the world kind of works. And it's not, I don't like to use the term world building. I tend to think of this more as story building. I don't have a giant map of how I lay everything out so that there's room for serendipity to happen when I'm doing these stories. But this character right here is just one of the coolest characters I think I've ever created, and I've worked in concept art doing character creation and things like that over my entire career. Obviously comic book characters, but this guy right here, this guy is where it's at, and I'm incredibly excited about him. Yeah, Nosfero 2 is going to be really cool. It's got a lot of Old Testament stuff in it, and and I mean Old Testament in the same way that it's mentioned on Peaky Blinders, for heaven's sake. But we've got, basically, this is my take on the Golem character from silent film in the 20s, I think it was. And I'm basically doing my version of the Golem meets Death Dealer, and a little bit of, what I loved about the Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark films, and the way that certain things were handled. And so I'm incredibly excited about this character. He's got this, hey, Pastmaster Dan, how are you doing, brother? It's great to see you. Looks like Linda Blair. Yeah, we've all been there. Actually a little bit of Linda Blair there. You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. And hail to you, brother. It's great to see you. For a minute there, I thought you were saying I looked a little like Linda Blair, and I said, maybe. I don't know. It depends on the lighting. Do you have a favorite character or enemy yet in this universe? Well, Nosfero is far and away... diaphanous gown is required. Laser shield. Ooh, we're going to have to talk about that. Yes, I'll tell you more about that. But yeah, do I have a favorite character? Nosfero is my favorite character, hands down. But my favorite villain, as far as the good guys go, but my favorite villain is this guy right here. The villain I created for book 2. I love this character. And I'm looking forward to illustrating him. I'm looking forward to... having Nosfero and our heroes go head to head. But yeah, what this is right here is what you're seeing right here. I'm glad you brought up the idea of a laser shield, because I wanted to show this guy to you guys. So much of what I do here when I'm handcrafting and hand painting, these books. Let's take it down a little bit here. Let's take it down. Saturday morning. I know, a little intense first thing in the morning. But one of the things that is really exciting to me about doing this is that it's all about creativity and vitality and pushing things, because these are handcrafted independent books. So what you're seeing happening right here is this Golem character, and he has a shield that's a little bit like the Raiders of the Lost Ark of the Covenant. And what he's shooting out from his shield are the souls of people who gave their life in defense of the God of Abraham. How's that for a new character? Right? So these are souls of people who gave the last full measure in defense of it. And the character's name, which I don't think I have revealed yet, but I'm going to reveal it because I want you guys to start getting excited about it. The character's name is Bromstone, named for the stone of... I'm calling him the Stone of Abraham. So that's the idea for this character. So if you want to talk about... When I started the Nosfero world, I had a pretty simple thesis for it. I loved Milius's Conan and Frank Frazetta's Conan. R.E. Howard-wise, I'm a bigger fan of Solomon Kane. But I wanted to create heroes that could go head-to-head and were as evocative and as rich as Lovecraft's creatures and monsters. I wanted to create a pantheon of heroes of the forces of good, and that is what I'm doing here. This is truly aspirational storytelling. That's what the goal is. And, when I say the motto, the credo for myself, and my personal credo and the credo for my characters and the work I do is give nihilism no quarter. And if there are characters that sum up the idea of giving nihilism no quarter, it is Nosfero, and certainly it's Bromstone. So that is the idea for this. So I want to introduce the idea of good as something that is far more powerful than evil, as I believe it is. And this is not one of those... my heroes are, they're dealing with evil at its most epic level. It's enormous. They're storming the gates of hell. That's what I'm after. That's what I want to do with these characters. They're the line of defense against humanity and oblivion and the destruction of everything. Destruction of life. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what this story is. And you can see, it's almost like, again, this force of souls being used by this character against these gigantic Lovecraftian outer god monsters. And that's what I'm about with this. And I'm excited because, you know, you want to do stuff that's epic and exciting and that people, you know, I don't want to say that people have never seen before, but people haven't seen in a while. These old forms, yeah, the Gates of Congress, awesome one. You ain't kidding. But these old forms are really important. These mythic forms, you know, and that's what I'm after. And hello, Katie. It's good to see you here in the chat. How are you doing? I'm a soul man. Yes, indeed. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Who they go back to where they come from? Yes, they do. Yeah. They go back into the shield when he's done using them. And it's really sort of not so much a he, because as I'm going to get into the story, much like the golem from you know, the mythology and the silent movie, he is made. And I think I'm going to have a line in there where I talk about him being made, not begotten, which is to say the opposite of it, how it's said in Scripture to describe what this character is. But he is essentially the Ark of the Covenant with legs, in a weird sense. You know what I mean? And in sense of, not in the sense of it containing the presence of God, but more containing a certain amount of spiritual power and power of good. And he's created to serve a very particular purpose. And so it's, which is to say the defense of all humanity. So he's created by humanity for the purpose of defending it against those forces that should not be let loose inside of our world. The doors that, frankly, the evil folks are always trying to open, you know, and let them in. And you saw that if you, again, guys, if you have not gotten Nosfero 1, the Second Chance campaign, which is going to be the last chance for a while, because I don't do wild overprinting. I don't have the space in my house or the resources to do that. This is going to be your chance to get that book, and the link is in the description. Make sure you are signed up for that book. You do not want to miss that book. It's going to have the artist edition and a second printing. But the first book deals with the ways in which characters in our world try to open up the door to these creatures, and there's sequences of them battling the forces of the vampire, the Nosferatu, you know, type characters who are trying to open these doors and keep them closed. This character is doing battle inside of those doors. So that's the cool part of it. So you're going to get introduced to this big world in the first book of Nosfero, and it covers a lot of ground, and it's a self-contained story. This story is also a self-contained story, but it just grows that mythos out. And I can't tell you how much I love the listening to Solomon Kane as I kind of gear up to do this kind of work. Yeah, Golem was you know it. Golem was inscribed with Emeth on his forehead, meaning truth. That's right. Yep, the Hebrew word for truth. And he is also going to have that inscription on his forehead. I've already designed it. So you can't really see his face in this, but yeah, he is going to have that inscription on him. Very good, Past Master Dan. You're the man. Hey, what is up? Mark's Music Obsession. It's an early stream for you, brother. I'm here. You're not that late. It's only been a few minutes, at least by our standards. You know how late we usually go. So yeah, I'm going to be really swinging for the fences with this stuff, guys. I mean, I want this to be. I'm so tired of how inarticulate and boring and futile good is being typically portrayed in stories. Now, I think the great stories portray good as being the most powerful thing, and far more powerful than evil. But you've got to be able to articulate it and have an imagination to make these things come alive. And, you know, for me, being able to do all of that stuff handcrafted with paint is the only way I can imagine doing it. So this is going to be your introduction to where Nosfero goes from here. This is going to be another character who could easily be, you know, his own, have his own story. But that's what we do in these stories. We want to make sure that we're making stuff really exciting. This character right here, though, that Nosfero is going to go head-to-head with is... I cannot wait for you guys to see this story. Yep, God-powered good guys. That's right. Yep. Oh, going to go up here. It's interesting because Lovecraftian worlds are very demon-empowered, but you're using the good side, which is aligned with God. Yes, and this is the thing. Sorry, Cranberry, I didn't have it up while I was reading it. But here's the thing about this. You know where they are. They're on screen, Steven. You can't fool me. You know I know that. Yeah, because there's always a little bit of Hammer horror in there, too. Life is... I'm sitting here at my desk looking at Alphonse Mucha's work. Alphonse Mucha is, to me, the greatest artistic genius in history, period. He is the biggest influence on my stuff, hands down. And when I look at that stuff, his stuff is... Look at something like the Slav epic. It's a beautiful, lyrical work of art, you know, and it's got everything. It's got life, it's got death, it's got, you know, the beautiful female figures, adventure and color. I'm all about embracing the power of and. I want my villains to be scary, but I want my heroes to rise up to meet them. You know, to take them head on, and that's what it's about, you know. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that guy is gonna be something. Yeah, I like the analogy of being empowered by the Holy Spirit. Yes, absolutely. That's what it is. It's Past Master Dan has got a face going on, and then a clock. Is something wrong? Is everybody all right? You know, it's like through your book, you're literally fighting real-world evil by showing evil being actually opposed to God's good. Yeah, it is. Shocker, isn't it? Yeah, lots of lava. That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing, isn't it? Peter Cushing, who is the best Van Helsing, with all due respect to Hugh Jackman, he's the best Van Helsing that has ever been put to screen. But Peter Cushing is he's just an incredible actor, but the way that Von Klaus, who some of you guys may know, Von, who did the trailer for Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex. Dang, I can't ever find what I'm looking for. But the thing that's so cool to me about it is Peter Cushing has this line that Von had me do for his head sketch, and in the head sketch, it's this line from Brides of Dracula where this woman who's been turned into a vampire goes, "Why don't you recoil in fear for me?" And she's like, "You have no fear?" And he goes, "Only God has no fear." And I went, man, Peter Cushing could deliver a line like that, like few other people can, you know? Time for arthritis medicine. And, yeah. I don't think that, there was this thing that I remember being said about, yeah, definitely Demon Clobbering time. Absolutely right. Yep. I thought Mel Brooks was the best. He was the best Van Helsing. I have Terror in the Trenches, and it's awesome. I have 2 copies of Terror in the Trenches, and the link to sign up for Terror in the Trenches 2 is in the description. But this is the thing, right, about all of this stuff. I have a werewolf character that raises Nosfero in book 1. And he is imprisoned as Nosfero is imprisoned as a child. And Nosfero, of course, is reciting a passage of Scripture. Quite famous passage of Scripture. And that is how the werewolf who ends up raising him is exposed to Scripture for the first time. I have a werewolf being exposed to Scripture and being... my hero is raised by a werewolf, okay? Like, you want to talk about pulp, you want to talk about what I love about Hammer Horror, you want to talk about what I love about Frazetta. He's raised by a werewolf and he fights vampires. I mean, this is pulp. This is what we're having fun with, guys, and I love it. If that doesn't get you excited about Nosfero, I have no idea how I can get you excited about it, but maybe there's book 2. This is a character who's trying to defeat hell. Think about that for a minute. That's what we're doing. We're swinging for it. Shanth, I will have more of your work around the place as I snagged both hardcover and softcover. Oh, excellent sets of the Lucent last night. Oh, that's so great, Mark. I'm so glad to hear this, man. Yeah, Michael's my boy. Michael's my boy, man. And it's oh my God, I sent him this joke thumbnail for a show idea I have, and it was going to be called Blanc and Tan. Oh, it had me cracking up, man. Yep. Where all things can be made a new creation under Christ. Yep, that's right. That's what it's about. I know. I'm gonna get you that Nosfero. It's happening. Yeah, you know it. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. This is the stuff that I don't want to say we've lost it, because it's always there waiting to be discovered. When I say that we have lost, let me speak for a very narrow group of people. Pop culture creators have lost this as the center of what they do, which is to say, and I'm not talking about a particular religious, do whatever they got to do. I'm talking about the idea of good, and I mean real good, real powerful good. Not just fighting evil, but what are you fighting for? You know, what's that great line? Some of you guys might know where this comes from, but there's that famous quote that what makes a person fight the hardest is not so much the enemy in front of them, but the thing that's actually behind them that they're fighting for. If you don't have good in these stories, if you don't have Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, if you don't have Luke Skywalker, if you don't have any of these, Conan, if you don't have my favorite, I'm sorry, Solomon Kane is the greatest character I think I've ever been introduced to. And maybe I'm going to change my mind after the initial euphoria wears off, but it's everything I want fiction to be, and pulp fiction to be. He's an extraordinary character. His idea of good, and he is not a daisy, man. He is not a daisy at all. He is out there. I mean, the story that I just read, Solomon Kane is fighting this evil, sort of young, petty, British young man, and he's fighting him with a sword, and the kid is hopeless. Solomon Kane almost feels terrible about it, and at a certain point, he's like, I know I'm going to lose. Can you just not make it so horrible for me? And Solomon Kane moves in with his sword and then moves out, and the guy collapses dead. And you can't see any wound until a little bit of blood trickles out from, the inside of his eye. And you realize that, and Solomon Kane says, I put the sword right in through there and took him down. And you just go, this is a Puritan Christian warrior against evil. Holy cow, is he terrifying. He makes Batman and the Shadow look like nothing, man. I'm telling you what, nobody did heroes like R.E. Howard, and nobody did villainy and evil like H.P. Lovecraft. Those are the two creators who are the centerpiece and infuse the work I do. Hands down. Hands down. It's not even close. Hey, holy hand grenades. How are you doing, my friend? Hail to you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. No Bunny Carlos, no Cheap Trick. That's right. A lot of soldiers and military folks, law enforcement, fight to defend the innocent, their families, or their nation. 100%. Yes, you fight for what's behind you, says Gen X Catholic. Could not have said it any better, man. Could not have said it any better. Yeah, and it's, I just can remember, there's this, my favorite line, and I got to see if I can get it so I can recite it properly. I know the quote, but I don't want to butcher it because it's important. Yes. When Henry Jones slaps Indiana Jones across the face and says, "That's for blasphemy." He says, "The quest for the Grail is not archaeology. It's a race against evil. If it's captured by the Nazis, the armies of darkness will march all over the face of the earth." That is the quote. That's the stuff that inspires me when I go to do my work. Nosfero is fighting for something far bigger than, just where he is, just his town, just for any of this stuff. Dracula wants the forces of evil to wash across the earth, wiping out humanity and wiping out good, wiping out God, wiping out all of the forces of good. You've got to have a hero that's playing for keeps because the stakes are too high. I want the stakes to be high in these stories. I want them to be something that people get excited about. And man, when I read those pulp stories from years and years and years ago, my goodness, they just show you how much we, how do I put it? When you see how great it's been done in the past, you realize that you have been eating empty calories spiritually and in terms of art. The art that you're looking at has not been filling. It's been empty calories. And I'm trying to paint and handcraft something that is labor intensive, but by God, when you get it, I want you guys to feel that you've been a part of making something that is about saying no to what is expedient, and saying yes to those things that are, as Jordan Peterson says, do what's meaningful, not what's expedient. That's what this is. And a great adventure yarn. A great adventure yarn. Sometimes you gotta do it. Yeah, he should have, actually. Would have been nice. Yeah, and it is kind of funny too, right? It's this idea of how can we be good when H.P. Lovecraft describes the monsters, right, of his world, the creatures of his world, the evil of the worlds that he's creating. He's incredibly articulate about it. They're very well described, well informed. And I started out thinking when I was doing this book, as strange as this might sound, I wonder what would happen if that same level of creativity was used for H.P. Lovecraft to describe what he thought an angel would look like. And my brain just started racing. Grey Wolf, channel member, it is great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Yep. No. Oh my gosh. Inglorious Rex, delicious calories. And I know what you mean. I know you love Shane. But guys, that book is launching tomorrow. I'm very excited. I'm a massive fan of Inglorious Rex. I know you guys know that if you're a regular on this channel. And if you're not a regular on this channel, by God, why not? But of course, I've got my Inglorious Rex 2 here with my favorite cover. Agreed. Winston Churchill was absolutely right about that. Amen. What is up? How are you doing? And good morning to you, MD Houghton. Is that how I pronounce it? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry for butchering your name, if I did. But it is great to see you this morning. Yeah, man. I mean, Inglorious Rex is... The thing that's so cool to me about that book is we're making something that is a genre that American comics have not really taken a great run at, and I think Shane has created a great world. And if I don't want to give away too much about it if you're new to the series, but it starts one place, which is, kaiju, because it's plural, it's the same thing. Kaiju fighting each other, and then they get into this, the world opens up, and soon they are fighting outside of the ring for, again, it's the humanity thing. And I love the characters. I love the way they come together, and that's what's fun. I need to get all the books because I finally have money. Yes, do not miss out on them. Everybody's saying ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. Yeah, guys, these books, it's going to be a big summer for independent comics. No doubt about it. I mean, when I'm looking at the trailers, guys, look at the trailers at the start of this stream when I play it. I'm always amazed at how much great work is coming out. We're spoiled for choice, thank goodness. Incomprehensible horrors beyond our limited human imaginations. Yeah, that's why I love Lovecraft so much. It's because he... I would read stories and I'd read books where they tried to talk about the nature of horror, of evil, and all of that. The goal of my villains, the goal of evil, let me say, in this story... Tammy D! Tammy! I need you to do me a favor. I need you to send me a message through Indiegogo because I think your package was returned to me. So I might not have your correct address. I think it's your package. If you got your book, let me know in the chat. But send me a message through Indiegogo if you didn't so we can get that off to you. I just want to make sure I have the correct address. But yes, indeed. Yeah, very excited about Nosfero. Yes, so Nosfero is available right now to sign up for. We're doing the Second Chance campaign, and it's launching on August 20th. So you don't have very long. Poor Mark's Music Obsession. Okay, you've not gotten it. Okay, so it did go out to you, but it said the address was wrong. So I just need you to go into Indiegogo and update the address, and then we'll be good to go. And we'll take care of you. Don't you worry. So yeah, it's about to launch. August is going to be a really cool month for comics. And I think we have Godlike 2 coming up. All great books coming out. So, but yeah, I want to make sure that people get a chance to get it so that while I'm working on Nosfero 2 and then I do the campaign for that people are getting up to speed with this character. Because it kind of, I was going back in time and looking at the timeline for when I launched the book. And a lot of people found out about me when the campaign had closed. And they were like, where can I get this book? And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to need to do a Second Chance campaign fast. So yeah, we're going to get that Second Chance campaign going on August 20th. And the book is already done. It's going to have a chance to get you're going to get it, the second printing. There's going to be a very limited amount of first printings there. And then, of course, the art-only edition is going to be available as well. So we're going to be able to meet all of your Nosfero needs, yeah. Yes, there will be first editions, but they are going to be more expensive. So there'll be those. And the first editions are the only ones that are going to be signed. And then the first editions of the art-only edition are going to be signed as well. So that'll be the first time you can get that. And if you've missed the book or you just want a reader copy, the second edition of the book, which I'm calling the Oxidized edition, is going to be really cool. So every edition of the book is not going to be the exact same thing. There'll be little differences on the inside, but it's going to be really cool to see. Really cool stuff. Yeah, guys, I love this. I love this world. I also love Lamp, as has been pointed out previously. Stephen Rockwood, if I'm not mistaken, Stephen Rockwood, my artist brother, you were one of the leading champions for the art-only edition of the book. I think there's Bancroft. Who else? Let me know in the chat if you were... Scottsley knows what I'm talking about. Gotta love Lamp. Let me know in the chat if you were one of the people championing the art-only editions of this book, because I feel like there was a few of you in the chat who were telling me you have got to do that. You've got to do one version that is without the text, just the painting, so we can look at it. But I can't remember. Yes, you did back it. You backed it. It got sent to you. So yeah, just send us that message on Indiegogo. We're gonna get it off to you because I saw it and I thought, well, I'm not gonna get into too many details about addresses and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll take care of you, Tammy. Don't you worry. Is the art only going to be oversized? No, it's going to be the same size as the regular book because, boy, an oversized art edition, that'd be so expensive. But that'll be down the road. This is just going to be like my art books. So all of my books are oversized. They're all 8.5 by 11. So if you've never seen backed one of my art books, I know there's a handful of you guys who've known me since I launched my first art book. Just to give you an idea. So here is a traditional comic book size. So I've got Inglorious Rex here, and then here's the size of Nosfero. So Nosfero is 8.5 by 11. And it's the same size as like the Rocketeer collected editions, the Shadow editions back in the day. So it's a pretty substantial book. And in terms of its size, and the paper stock is heavier as well. So it's like a high quality art book. And so yeah, and the reproductions, the color on it are great. So yeah, I mean, it's getting excited about doing these stories and having that. Just trying to articulate visually what good is and powerful good is. That's what it's about. We need Shanth to make an original hand-painted vampire story. Yeah, well, there's going to be some of that in here, but I don't know if it's going to be that as centered on it as possible, but you never know. When you think of something, oh my gosh, let me adjust my glasses. When you think of something divine like an angel, you get light, rings, and bands, eyes, a bunch of eyes, wings, an amalgamation of various animals that resemble a quality of the power of God and eyes. Yes, 100%. Yeah. Here we go. Let's see. MD Houghton says, gotcha. I've heard many complain about the production cost of one-to-one printing. I forgive you. Understood. Thank you for forgiving me. Although, I gotta tell you guys, if you did not get Ghost of the Badlands by Razorfist, which has got one of my paintings in it, in the back of it, the deluxe edition, that deluxe edition of that book is substantial. That is a enormous book. I mean, it's crazy. So right here, what you can kind of see is I'm making a reference to the illustrated Our Father by Alphonse Mucha, who you guys probably know, one of the most important artists probably in the history of visual art, who did all of those great Art Nouveau posters. Alphonse Mucha did an illustrated version of the Our Father, which has been re-released and reproduced from newly photographed from the artwork. And he does all of this. I mean, just is incredible what this guy does. If you want to know, who sets the bar for me art-wise, it's Alphonse Mucha. In fact, I have it right here. I'm going to show you the sketch for it, for God's sake. This is his sketch, Heavens to Betsy, for "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." Look at that. Look at the pencil drawing for it. It's astounding. I mean, he's got to be one of the greatest artists who have ever walked the face of the earth. Just incredible, A Sean self-insert vampire love story with... You're killing me, dude. Yes, of course. Well, of course. Yeah, it's all diaphanous gowns all the time. But someday I'll have to get a treasury-sized Nosfero. It'll happen. If you guys, we're just getting started. All right, we make this thing... Look, you guys are here... those of us who are insane enough to try to self-publish and do create-our-own comics, right? We're quite insane. You guys who are here supporting us before anybody knows what this stuff is are getting the first editions. You're getting the mailed from the creator, hand-signed stuff. If any of this stuff goes gangbusters, if quality really does, and I'm a big believer God has a plan, if any of this stuff goes gangbusters, you have the rarest of the rare stuff. If you backed the art books, those had a print run of like 300 each. That's all that was ever made. Period. Nosfero has a print run of under 800 copies. Easily. Like, we start removing the copies that were dinged that I didn't like, and I was like, it's not that. We're getting down to low print runs. And more than 660 of them went out. So for the Second Chance campaign, those are going to cost a little bit of money to get that first printing of Nosfero, right? But it will probably cost a lot more money if someone wants to get it off of you in the future. That's how it works, because there aren't a lot of them. It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 or something like that. These are ridiculously low print run. They're not even 1,000 copies in some cases. It's crazy. Yep, the Lord's Prayer. It's an amazing thing. Yep, that work is incredible. Yeah, absolutely, guys. You guys know. You guys, those who know. You know. That's right. All the time, yep. He's no Franklin Booth, but yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, Franklin Booth is outstanding, though. You're right. What's wrong with tubing in Gator? God, please don't do it. Yeah, guys, please be careful. Yeah, that's my #1 fear in Florida is, of course, the gators. I have family down there, and I've spent a lot of time there. My wife used to go there a lot in the summers. Lots of love for Florida. But, man, I tell you what, some of those gators that are coming out of the water these days, we haven't seen the likes of them in a long time, if ever. I mean, that one walking across the golf course, holy cow. I like that the guy filming it goes, that looks like two guys in an alligator suit. I was like, that's what it looks like, man. It's insane. So, yeah, imagine a character of good that could throw an uppercut that would put Thulu on his hindquarters. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, oh, I know you love Franklin. Stephen Rockwood, if you didn't like Franklin Booth, I would not know what's going on. Seriously. Oh, my lord. You guys crack each other up, Cranberry Landers and Tammy D. Let's see. Yep. Oh, gosh, I know, guys. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, Florida's wild, man. Florida is wild. I mean, not just for the weather, but, I mean, the amount of snakes now that are living in the Everglades and the scale, just the raw scale that the gators are growing to is crazy, man. Those alligators are huge. But yeah, I wanted to create, just this, when you step through the other side of the gate that the vampires and the, really the Nosferatu are always trying to open, as well as Amun al-Hazared, who you will learn about in the first Nosfero book, if you have that, or if you are waiting to back that Second Chance campaign. Those guys they don't care about anything else, but they just want annihilation. They just want to annihilate all life and all good. And so their motives are very simple. So the book that I introduce you guys to in the first volume, Nosfero Book 1, is the Necronomicon Ex Nihil. And it translates, at least in my translation of it, is the Book of Annihilation. That's what it's for. And so its purpose is, you've got people who are trying to defend life and good, so they better be able to throw down. That's what it's about, let me see here, my glasses here. Oh, yeah, Lepresti did a segment on Booth. That's right, on his Sunday shows. Amazing work. And shout out to Aaron Lepresti, man. Gotta love Aaron. Yeah, some people have mice. Other people have gators. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let me see here. Gator tail is yummy. Tammy, that was the most Florida thing I think I've heard. When I was in Australia, the Aboriginals were like, sure, you can swim with the gators. We do it all the time. Yeah, I'm not having it. Brett Booth isn't bad either. Let's see here. Is there any real action-packed page you're looking forward to painting? That's nothing I can give away. Nothing I can give away. Buy this book, my fave and CG today. Oh, thank you, Blue Boy Comics. I appreciate that, my friend. God bless you. Yeah, love it here in Florida. I love Florida, man. Still think Louisiana has us beat on the big gators. I don't even doubt it. I have seen some absolute monsters in Louisiana. I don't doubt it. Yeah. Man, I broke my phone a few days ago. So, Holy Hand Grenade says, so I have been using this 6-year-old phone. I got to go get a new one ASAP. I'll be lurking. Understood, my friend. I feel like we're in good versus evil right now. We absolutely are. We absolutely are. There's no gator. Doc Brewski, how are you doing, man? That Kit Carter poster Aaron did looks killer. Yes. That was really, really cool. Yeah, when I was on, I think it was it for Graham's closeout stream for Joe Frankenstein, which, by the way, is available in demand. So if you have not gotten Joe Frankenstein, do go by and pick up that book. That campaign's over $100,000 right now. It's raised a ton of money because people are excited to see the continuing adventures. It makes the book better the more people back it. So if you haven't backed Joe Frankenstein, check it out. And of course, Kit Carter, which is going to be an oversized edition as well, just like Nosfero was. And Aaron did a painting for it, and the painting looks beautiful. Did a beautiful painting for it. And very excited about it. Yeah, I love seeing anytime anybody picks up a paintbrush in traditional media to make artwork, because it's so labor intensive, and there's so few people who can really do it, because it takes so much time. It's so incredibly time consuming. But if you want to make stuff that lasts, and if you want to make stuff that is going to resonate with people, that care and craftsmanship you put into it is everything. That's what it's about. And actually, let me give you guys even a better view. I just realized let's use the technology a little bit here, shall we? So I can get you guys right up on the paper. There you go. Easy peasy. There you go. That's what we're doing here. that is what we're here to do. You know, repetition, repetition. By the way, this is a very nice look at that character. Even though it's a small character, that's, you know, small, or in terms of this painting, it's represented small. The character is actually quite huge. The character is bigger than a person by a lot, just like the original golem in the Jewish, Eastern European, I think it was, lore that the movie Golem touches on, and then all this other stuff. I'm kind of doing... See, and again, guys, I know we talk about this a lot. There have been a lot of Golem characters created in pop culture. They just remove the God part of it. And I'm thinking, that's ridiculous. Like, it takes away the entire strength of the character. You know, I mean, the character is interesting because of that aspect of it, of that religious aspect of it. And once you lose that, I mean, it'd be like making Solomon Kane not religious or something. Like, why are we even doing it at this point? Do you know what I mean? Let me see here. Let me click on this Blue Boy Comics. I'd like Hollywood to let creators from other countries bring their cultural versions of vampires to the big screen. Yep. Imagine an Aztec period vampire, an African voodoo influenced vampire. Yeah. I was working on a story. If you're a channel member, you can go back through the posts and you can actually see some of the opening pages of it. But I was working on the vampire type story that's influenced by the Filipino vampire lore of the Manananggal, which are freaking terrifying. Absolutely have to go down as one of the most terrifying and disturbing vampire lores that there are, or that there is. But there we go. And it really is about, even when I'm painting, because I'm using line just like Alphonse Mucha and so many of my heroes, but it really is about the thick and thin lines and the repetition of this. I mean, there aren't a lot of people who do this kind of work in comics because it takes so much time, and then you have to think, to be a writer too, you have to have an idea, you have to put all this stuff together. So I mean it sincerely when I say it took me, 45 years, I think, to get to the point where I could do Nosfero. You know, I mean, I believe that it was Thomas Hart Benton, who's a real character. A friend quoted him as saying, "The artist's life is the best life on earth if you can survive the first 40 years. And it always has cracked me up. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He ain't lying. He had to go there, didn't he? Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. I mean, pick your, is it going to have the head of a lion like the Lion of Judah? Yeah, we'll see with this one. So, one of my favorite movies that was written by a Civil War general who fought in the Battle of Shiloh is Ben-Hur, and it was made as a silent film, and then it was Ben-Hur, A Story of Christ, and then it was made by the incredibly, the amazing film starring Charlton Heston. And if you have not seen Ben-Hur ever or recently, get that new restored version they did of it where they painstakingly made that film. Judah Ben-Hur is one of the greatest characters in history, and we used to make stories like that. We used to make stories of faith and revenge. And by the way, the most evil villain I've ever seen in a story is the villain in Ben-Hur. That dude, he's the kind of dude you'd like to kick up a flight of stairs. Seriously. Yeah, Ben-Hur is awesome. It sure is. And thank you for dropping the link. Yes, the Nosfero t-shirt is available in my TeePublic store. Lots of cool shirts there, guys. So if you want to represent, if you want to advertise Nosfero out in the world, that's the best way to do it. Oh, it did not. It was a wonderful joke. Yeah, the 80s Made Consumer was wanting to do a mythological story, based around the Filipino mythology. Very cool. Speaking of Aztec, the Aztec mummy would be a great pizza. We watched that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was so much fun. Let me see here. Okay, just making sure I'm keeping up with the chat. Yeah, guys. So, Ben-Hur is... I think even Epic doesn't sum up that movie's sense of scale. What an incredible bit of cinematography, set design, matte paintings, acting, everything in that movie is on point. You look at a movie like that and you just wonder how movies like that were ever made. Even, I don't care how smart the folks were working on that movie. You gotta be, that's like a different kind of level. That's like Isaac Newton filmmaking, man. What we got today is more like Fig Newton filmmaking. Let me see here. There we go. It's coming together. All right. Oh yeah, it's totally worth the watch. We were dying during it. It was so cool. Yep, Shane Davis's. Let me get it. I just missed it there. Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex 3. Sign up, guys. Check it out. Sign up if you want to have a chance to win one of these 10 metal covers that they are going to be giving away. Lots of cool stuff. Shane and Yanzi, you want to talk about, it's the same thing with my family and I. What we are in this space, we're family businesses. We're family businesses. This is a family, trying to make this work against all of, the obstacles that are there that we don't have teams to help us with. And when you help this business, when you back things like Inglorious Rex 3, you're helping Shane and you're helping Yanzi and you're helping their family, and they have a daughter. When you back Nosfero, when you guys send super chats, you're helping with brushes. I have 2 kids myself, 2 kids who are fixing to go off to college, my God. But this family is everything to me. And it is, I cannot overstate that. And, what you guys do when you guys support us and back us has a real impact on our lives. It's not like, when I say this, it is just the truth. If you got Nosfero, I bagged, boarded, and boxed your copy. It was just me. That's it. My wife prints out the labels. Thank God she handles that stuff. Thank you, God. She handles all that stuff, but I will do everything else. Eric Weathers does the lettering. Other than that, from start to finish, from ordering the paper, the brushes, the painting, the writing, the illustrating, all of it is me. And it's done that way because that's the only way we can make it work. That's the only way we can make it work. My friend was very appreciative of your personal. So, oh, thank you, Stephen Rockwood. I'm so glad. Or Cranberry Landers. I'm so glad to hear that. I know because you ordered a bunch of books in Cranberry. It is. I never thought this was going to happen. I never thought Comicsgate would exist. It's. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I couldn't have dreamed up Comicsgate in a million years. And it is going directly to the audience, and the fact that, John Malin and your boy Zach did this crazy thing. All of these things came together. All of these things came together to make this happen. And, if you want to know how important this book is and who you're supporting when you back Nosfero, read my wife's introduction. It's the best introduction. I can't even imagine, reading it. Imagine what it was like for me to read it, but it's just unbelievable. I would help out voluntarily if I were close to you, brother. Thank you, Mark's Music Obsession. God bless you, man. You help out aplenty, man. By being a channel member. Sorry, my nose is all gonna blow my nose. Apologies, guys. Hate to do that in frame. Ugh. I appreciate all of you guys so much for being there. Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot wait to get your book to you, Tammy. I saw that. I was like, no, I got to get Tammy's book. Yeah. Hardcroft. Yes, indeed. Let's see here. Michael Bancroft will attest that the label printing is the hard. It really is the hard part. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too is available. If you guys haven't seen that trailer, I wrote the dialogue for the trailer. And put that trailer together for Art because, and Tammy, you can relate to this. All my Floridians can relate to this, Mark. I bet you can too. Houston, where my sister-in-law lives and where Art Thibert lives, they got hit bad by storms. He was trying to get the word out about that book, but it's right in the middle of the first couple of weeks of the campaign. You get hit with a hurricane. But Art is a legend in terms of the comic book art form. And if you've missed that book, I said to myself that morning, I think it was, when I saw him talking about it, I go, oh man, and a hurricane right at the start. And I just sat down and I started working on a trailer for him. And that's what we all do. We all try to, chip in and help each other any way we can. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Art's work, and my God, especially the one of my favorite works that he inked on. See if I can move that. There we go. One of my favorite works that he inked on was the New Fantastic Four that was written, I think, by Walt Simonson, illustrated by Arthur Adams, or penciled by Arthur Adams, and then inked by Art Thibert, and it's beautiful, man. Oh man, my allergies are terrible today. Apologies, guys. Let's see here. I'm way behind here. Top right corner of the page is that manganese blue. Actually, I don't know what kind of blue that is. I typically use manganese with my acrylics, so I don't know what the color is because these don't really have a label on them. But it's more of a... Ooh, gosh, what would I say? It's a cross between manganese and a cerulean is the color I'm using, if that makes sense. I don't know if that did, but hopefully. Hopefully it'll make some sense. But man alive. There is some seriously cool stuff going on. But yeah, I just was waxing philosophical and positively to my wife about Comicsgate the other night. And just saying, because she was here with me when we tried to do self-published comics, and she was with me at conventions when I was showing my work. She would see me when I'd come back from New York taking portfolio trips there. She was there with all of the, I want to give you some work, as soon as you get out of college. I remember Mark Chiarello said that to me at a portfolio review. And he's actually friends with a buddy of mine, which is really funny. Something he probably, doesn't remember. And it's like, those things don't turn into jobs sometimes. Sometimes those things fall through. Sometimes the opportunity just isn't there. But she's been with me on this whole comic thing forever. And what she wrote in that intro was something that I wouldn't have realized how much, how well she knew me, as tragic as that might sound, until I read that intro. It's crazy. Oh, I cannot wait to get it to you. Crenshaw, how are you doing, my friend? How are you? Let me see here. Glasses just fell. Tried watching the new show, Those About to Die, and could only think about how disappointing it was compared to Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur is, my goodness, it's amazing. Move Pro next to Painter. There you go. All right. Let's see here. Art and art. Way cool. Yeah, we gotta love art, man. Yeah, manganese blue. Yep, absolutely. Manganese, not... Oh, wait, let me see. Oops, I didn't click on it. Not a lot of people know what that is. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Love cerulean blue. Yep. Rising tide lifts all boats, 100%. Chinese red is trending. Oh, my goodness. Let's see here. If those About to Die remove that part of the games, he was a Christian willing to die for his faith and probably loses a lot of... Yes, it does. You're absolutely right. Now I need to watch Ben-Hur. It's such a great watch. It's so inspiring. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that intro is one of my favorite things in that book. So, yeah, here's the thing about Ben-Hur, right? Ben-Hur is and everything I try to do is I try to answer in my work, or at least talk about in my work, simple but big questions with, that there are answers for. There are good answers for. Like, why do we do things? And the thing that's beautiful about Ben-Hur is it's about a man who was Judah Ben-Hur, a man... First of all, let's start with this. Let's start before it was written, before we even get to the story. Let's talk about a particular Hebrew word that is tied to American history. And if you know American history, you're going to know what this word means the second you hear it. Shiloh. So, Shiloh was the site of a church, and also the bloodiest battle, legendarily bloody battle in the Civil War, in the American Civil War, was the Battle of Shiloh. And it was, they said after that battle, I think in the Ken Burns documentary, that the worst thing a soldier could ever say in battle was, I was more scared there, or I was as scared there as I was at the Battle of Shiloh, because that's how bad it was. So one of the generals in the Battle of Shiloh goes on and writes a book about a Jewish nobleman named Judah Ben-Hur, and his meeting Christ at the end of his or throughout his life, on his journey of revenge for what the Romans do to him and his family, and obviously the ends with the crucifixion of Christ, the Romans there as well. And the thing that's interesting about it is that the question that it poses is, what do you do? What if you go through every ordeal imaginable to get revenge? You get revenge, and it doesn't heal that wound inside of you. How do you let go? How do you survive revenge once you've accomplished it? It's such a great film. It's just beautiful. Everybody was on point. The film stock, the cinematography, and all of that stuff. But Nosfero as a character, and you guys will see this in the book, the thing about Nosfero... All right, take care, Blue Boy Comics, my friend. Happy painting. And God bless, as Bob Ross would say. This is the thing about it, is that Nosfero as a child goes through horrific things at the hands of these vampires. They basically they feed on this kid, and he is freed, and it doesn't break him. He believes that he was able to survive because God was watching out for him. So he doesn't say, where was God when this was happening? He says, I was only able to sustain because of God. And that's just it's a different way of looking at the world. It's just a different type of person, and that's what my hero is made of. So his trials revealed his character. They didn't form his character. They just certified it, is the best way I could put it. Are we talking about Ben-Hur? Love that movie, by the way, if we are. Such a great movie. I got the deluxe Blu-ray set and blah, blah. And by the way, I do love Caddyshack as well. It's the funniest thing, isn't it? I love watching all kinds of movies. I have Solomon Kane sitting over there, which I got a while back and loved that movie. It was great. I was watching Fright Night from the 80s. I watched the Hammer Horror Brides of Dracula, Ben-Hur. If someone went through my Blu-ray collection, they would just go, wow, this guy likes everything, because I'm just a movie fan. I'm a fan of movies and cinema and pulp, and I love it all. I love Hammer Horror movies. I love silent movies, and like Nosferatu was a huge influence on book one, just like the Golem, or Der Golem in the original German, is an influence for this book and this character. It's like, you got to do it, Okay, sweet. Yeah, so glad to hear it. Let me see here. Have something that... let me see here. That fulfills, to orient your life towards... Yep. To seek after. Yep. You know what I mean. To relinquish vengeance is to acknowledge that all men are sinners, and we could be that person who is, depraved if we were in their position. Yeah, and how do you... letting go of anger effectively, right? It's not about sacrificing your principles. Like, that's the thing that interests me the most when I'm looking at something like Scripture, because it seems intolerable. Like, love your enemies. Love your enemies is one of the most fascinating things you could possibly ever read, because it doesn't say make your enemies friends when they're your enemies. It says love your enemies. That is messed up, because you're still making a value judgment. It's great. When I say messed up, let me be really clear. It's I'm not saying the Scripture is messed up. I'm saying it does my head in, as they say. I just go, wow. Like, as a kid, I remember as a kid reading that, and I didn't understand that at all. Maybe I still don't fully understand it. But you have to have principles. You have to have principles. Solomon Kane is definitely, when I was listening to his stories, he's taken people down, He's taking care of business and vengeance. You know, he's very Old Testament in terms of how he deals with things. The Puritan warrior. But it's you gotta there's so many degrees of good, you know. And Laurel is a character, and you're gonna see when you read the first book, you will get an idea from Laurel is transformed by the end of the first book, and I mean that literally. She's transformed, and yes, yep. Gen X Catholic, if you hadn't chimed in with that, I feel like that you'd be my phone a friend. What? I'm gonna end up in the hospital. You guys are great. You guys are so fun. You would be my phone a friend in that instance, my friend. I'm so glad you chimed in with that. Thank you so much. I'm still here trying to send you a message on Indiegogo. Okay, so let's do this. If you go to, this will also help. We can do this. Let me do this here. There is, if you're having trouble with that, there is a contact form at SHANTHENJETIART.com. So there's a contact form there that you can fill out and get a message to me with, you know, whatever details, you know, and everything like that. We'll take care of you. So those are the two ways you can do it. If Indiegogo isn't working for you, let me know. And we'll make it happen. It's not to ask for no trials, but to encounter them with strength and boldness, to encounter the trials and succeed. Yes. And, you know, it's weird because when I was thinking about movies that speak to me about this, it's always those sweeping romantic epics. You know, I love Last of the Mohicans. I don't know if you guys know that movie, I think it was 1992 film with Daniel Day-Lewis and Madeline Stowe. It's got that kind of, you know, romantic rescue the girl, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time that I'm still trying to scratch out on my violin and get a better handle on it. But it's such a great movie. And I want these books to feel epic. That's why they're 8.5 by 11. I want you guys to sit back and enjoy them. There you go, man. Amen. Yes. So let me get this straight, Gen X Catholic. Do you see me coughing and go, I can make that worse? You're killing me, man. But I love it. I like where your head's at. Yeah, that soundtrack is iconic. It is. One of the finest composers. Yeah. Great musical score. Yep. Great musical score. Love it. And I also like, I've always liked, I think it's why I like NCY this stuff and why I like Solomon Kane. I've always liked the aesthetic in paintings and, of course, Revolutionary War and all of that stuff of the flintlock. There's just something really cool about the old muskets and those old pistols for illustration. John, it's great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Fopeezy, great to see you as well. How are you? Shant, do you think you'll ever do interiors for anybody else's again? Oh, wow, that's tough. I.e., a supplemental, etc., or do you think those days are over for you working on others' interiors? There's not a lot of people I would do that for, to be honest, and I can't foresee it because for me, yeah, it's so much work to do painted stuff. If someone wanted me to do a 5-page interior for their stuff, and if they were paying for it, what it would cost, yeah, there's a handful of people I would do that for. Yeah, like a very small group of people, because I would love to, but we'd have to figure out a way for it to work too. It would have to work. I've definitely talked to Shane about that idea. You know, I don't know how we would make that work, but I would love to do 5 pages, or something, you know, like just a fun little thing for Inglorious Rex. Godlike, definitely. I could see something with that. Let me think what else. If there's anything else that I could think of. Maybe Fearsome. Fearsome definitely comes to mind because it's It's a sort of a surreal kind of dream world. Oh, I'll tell you one for sure, actually. Elephant. I love painting elephants. And, yeah, doing some kind of short thing for Elephant would be awesome. You know, I love that character. So, yeah, something like that. I would be game for, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense there. Yeah, Enya even had a great song in Mohicans. Yes! Yeah, that song's great. They did a couple of different cuts of that. And that movie. And I actually ordered the Blu-ray from the UK because it had the original cut. They did some stuff where they messed with it too much. Now it's a really good cut of the film, but they actually really put some stuff from the television release of the show that I thought was terrible. It interrupted the flow, but that is a great score. And the climax of that film, you know, which I believe someone was telling me was filmed in North Carolina, where they were from, but it's like the rolling hills of Tennessee that I grew up around, is the that final sequence. The score of it is incredible, and that the action, the musket fire, the editing, Dante Spinotti's fantastic cinematography, so good. Let me see here. Oh gosh, my glasses just fell. That would be cool for a sequel to John's Black Riding Hood 2. That's another one I might consider doing. But with all those things, right, it's about who you're working with. And so even with commissions, right, they take so much time and they take so much out of me to do. Like, this is the commission I'm working on right now for the great Eric Weathers. Never get it twisted. So Eric Weathers' commission. The commission, I don't know which one I did before or after that, but then there's Razorfist's commission for Ghost of the Badlands. It's about working with people who inspire me and who are going to let me, you know, just let me go for it with the work. And of course, everybody knows this painting for the Lucent 2 Painted Death. And this painting was a real magnum opus. This painting was absolutely crazy to do. It's one of my finest paintings I think I've ever done. And then I still don't know where the heck I put it, but somewhere kicking around here is the CYBERFROG trading card that I did for Ethan. So yeah, there's stuff like that, you know. It's got to be with somebody who I'm into, you know, their artwork. That's the biggest thing I could say. And someone who has the money to pay for it too, which is a factor as well. Let's see here. So, because it's the time and it's also the resources, because I want to give it everything I have. Like, I don't do a single painting. I've never done a painting halfway. Like, I just don't do that. In fact, there's a painting that I haven't been showing that I was looking at the other day. I'm going to grab this. Hang on a second here. I'm going to see if I can grab this painting because I haven't been able to show it. So hang on a second. There we go. Woo! So if you got the Visions book for John Malin's Godlike, you may... Ooh, let's see if I can make this work. You may have seen this painting of Von Klaus's character. So this painting right here, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit for it. Actually, let me see if I can grab this. I'm going to scroll out. There we go. Make myself bigger there. This is the painting I did in John Malin's Visions book. Actually, I'll go this way because the audio will be better. And this painting is of Heidi from Monster MD. And Heidi is invisible. She has a terrible accident with a monster. And the resulting explosion reveals Heidi. Stephen Rockwood, this is for you, man. I can't do much more for you than this. This has got to be right up your alley. But I had forgotten I had done that painting because I did two paintings in the Visions book, and I did that one first. So yeah, I've done something for Vaughn. It's really a question of what characters, see if I can get that to line up. There we go. What characters you want to do. So yeah, that's one of those paintings, and I haven't even put that up for sale yet, and that's one of those paintings that people will just, jump on when I do. So got to get there. Do you know if there are plans for a Ghost of the Bad? Yeah, there's definitely plans for Ghost of Badlands 2. I mean, I haven't asked him about it, but I think he's said it on his streams a bunch of times. So, yeah. That's right, I got to. Yeah, if you have art books 1 and 2, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Steven, you know that's for you. Let's see here. Reminds me of the pinups for Mike Allred's Madman. That was a great book. I owned the collected pinups from that book, and Dave Stevens did a beautiful pinup of Madman for that. Frank Frazetta did one. Bruce Timm did one. Arthur Adams did one. I mean, everybody who was anybody did a pinup for that book. And I loved that book. And I was a huge fan of Madman. I thought that was a great comic book. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. What a talented artist he is. And his wife is incredibly talented as well, too. So, yeah, those two are great. Laura and Mike Allred. In fact, gosh, I can't believe I forgot to say this. I was at San Diego Comic-Con when I was in college, and I think Rocky was there. And I had some Spider-Man samples, and Mike Allred asked me, because he used to do this at conventions, he goes, hey, I love that drawing of Spider-Man, can I ink it? So I have a sample page of Spider-Man in my basement somewhere that was inked by Mike Allred. I'm telling you guys, it has been an interesting journey here to Comicsgate, man. It's wild. Not at all for the fact, Shanth is a madman himself, 100%. Yeah, that was Dark Horse, and I think first it was Kitchen Sink, and then it was Dark Horse, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. You guys let me know. But yeah, so I have one of my samples for Marvel samples with the Spider-Man inked by Mike Allred. Yeah, I mean, people like... This is the thing about comics, right? There have to be jobs to get, and when the industry... the mainstream industry was just collapsing in the late 90s, or it had collapsed and was just, getting worse. There just weren't any jobs to really get, and if you were in already, before the collapse, they were trying to make sure they kept you in work if you were good, and if you were trying to get in, it was almost impossible. Like, it was really, not that it couldn't happen, some people did, but it wasn't, not for what I was doing, and not, it was just really hard. Again, not impossible. But I had so many editors, so many people go, I want to give you work when we do this and do that. And it's just those things never came at the right time. But I'm a really big believer in the fact that everything I was doing and everything I've been working on was leading to this point, this moment right here with Nosfero. That's why we're doing this right now. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that, I can create something on this scale. And if I hadn't been doing all of that work, I wouldn't be here. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really sweet couple. I would like to think that if we do the For the Fans convention at some point, or who knows, maybe it'll even be New Jersey. If I go there and to one of those conventions and I'm there with Nosfero, or I'm there to meet you guys and you guys have the chance to meet Mrs. Enjetti and I hope you'll have a similar experience to the one I had with Mike and Laura Allred. Just really good people. Really great people. And like I said, it's Shanth Enjeti Art is a family business, and you help my family when you support this channel. For all of you guys who are channel members, thank you for being channel members. For all of you guys who ring the bell for notifications, like and subscribe, all of that stuff. It's about getting this work in front of people. The more people find out about this work, the easier it is for me to work this hard. It's a weird thing to think about, but my financial capacities have always been used, and maybe this is why I'm not that smart in certain ways, but I've always used it to work harder. I've always used it to do more, and that luxury of being able to do things like, maybe I can do an art, full-sized art edition or a hardcover or stuff like that. But right now it's every bit of support helps. Every time you guys get the word out, it helps. And you guys doing what you do makes it possible for me to do what I do, and I appreciate it. Okay, Shanth, I fixed my address in Indiegogo. Thank you, Tammy D. We're going to get that to you as soon as we can, okay? And I'm so glad that we got that started. I'm so glad you came in the stream today. Sell some diaphanous gowns to the con. I know, absolutely, right? Are you offering to ink my samples? You never know. If the mood strikes me and if my hand is steady, God willing and the arthritis don't rise, I'll be good. We'll keep pushing the content out, man. I know you will, guys. I appreciate that. You guys Comicsgate's amazing. I've got so many things I'm working on right now because with the first campaign, the thing I wanted to do was I'm going to do a campaign and I'm not going to do any other campaigns until I've shipped, this campaign. Because I think for your first campaign, even though it wasn't my first Indiegogo campaign, it was my third. It was my first Comicsgate campaign. So I really wanted to make sure that, for people who would doubt whether, a book is even coming out, that they would see that. But, the fun thing about going forward is I've got a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of things I want to do. And so the campaigns are going to come out. I know how to fulfill things and I know how to get things ready to go. So the next campaigns I do, you're going to be seeing a lot. You're going to be seeing a lot of cool stuff from me. And this next campaign is going to be the start of a lot of that stuff. So very excited. And I thank you guys for checking out the links too in the chat to all of the great books we have out here. Art, Thibert, Oodles, Doodles, and other stuff too. We've got, Ethan Van Sciver's Fearsome with art by David Williams. You've got, and Jason Wright is well on colors, and Eric Weathers on letters, let me add as well. You've got Eric Weathers' Battle Brick Road 2, and you can also get the first book if you missed it. You've got The Lucent Painted Death by Michael Bancroft. You've got Joe Frankenstein by Graham Nolan. You've got KOR-DRATH by Andy Smith. And let's see what else I've got there. Is there anything I'm missing? Oh, and of course, Inglorious Rex 3, launching tomorrow by Shane Davis. And that book is an incredibly fun and kinetic, is the way I would describe it, kaiju adventure story. It's everything, and you'll love it. It's got humor, it's got drama, it's got, incredible relationships between the characters. And yes, please do smack that like, everybody. I appreciate you guys and your support so much, man. But yeah, I'm really excited for the launch of that book tomorrow. It's weird how you kind of you get to meet people and you get to know people, and getting to get to know what a huge, fight fan and monster fan Shane is. It's great. It's great to have some kaiju and monster fans around to talk silly monsters stuff with. It's great, and fighting too as well. Boxing and combat sports stuff is fun to talk about as well. But yeah, so if you look at this section of the painting right here, yes, it does. Yeah, that cover by Ethan is absolutely astounding. I love it, and I can't wait to see it. So if you're looking at this sequence or this section right here, the thing I'm going for, as we're looking into this sort of abyss, is a little bit of Disney's Fantasia, Night on Bald Mountain. Do you know what I mean? That whole, all of those, the cool trick photography of all of the spirits rising up and, all of those little, ghosts and ghouls and demons and everything like that. That's really what I'm trying to create here. Just that kind of sweep. And, one of the big influences on Nosfero, outside of Hammer horror movies and Jack Asher's, lighting and cinematography on those films, are, of course, the backgrounds, the watercolor, gouache painted backgrounds of those early Disney films, like Snow White has some of the most incredibly cool gothic interior stonework, or Fantasia for sure. Every one of those sequences is beautiful, but in particular Night on Bald Mountain, that's the stuff that has always been an inspiration, because it does create that immaculate reality. And I want to create an immaculate reality inside of the pages of Nosfero. I think it was Kurosawa who coined that phrase, but I could be wrong. It might be another filmmaker who coined that phrase, so apologies if I'm wrong on that. Oh, I see the Fantasia flavor. 100%, Doc. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's, excuse me. I was looking at, what's the artist's name? can't believe I'm blanking on his name. There was... On Fantasia. Hold on. Hey, Lauren? What's the name of the artist of that book I got you? The one I got you of the illustrator a while ago. It's next to the record player. No. Below that one, I think. Or above it. It's a new one. It's got a blue spine, I think. K. Nielsen. Thank you. Yes. K. Nielsen. K. Nielsen is the illustrator and one of the production artists on Fantasia who did the Bald Mountain sequence. And yeah, he's just one of those incredible artists, and he did a lot of the color work and color design. So K. Nielsen. Yeah, bow to Mrs. Enjeti, indeed, John. Yeah, she's the best. I love the backgrounds in Snow White. They're incredible. Absolutely incredible. And you don't see animation like that anymore. Yeah, and I think those are beautiful. I love the backgrounds Ivan Durrell did for Sleeping Beauty. I think he painted almost all the backgrounds, and his every background he had a hand in making, like detailing and correcting. Just incredible. Oh, had to take a phone call. All right, Sumo. I hope everything is well. Yeah. Thinking about, and great to have you back, thinking about Fantasia makes me think about nursery rhymes are scary. Yes, they are. Absolutely right. Yeah, I think there's something about the handcrafted quality of those early, Disney movies that make them timeless. And I remember thinking, when I went off to college, one of the things I was interested in doing that I'm doing now in Comicscape, but there was not, unfortunately, a huge emphasis on teaching skill or trying to do things that were for an audience. But one of my thoughts was, well, our printing technology has gotten so great, our scanning technology has gotten so great, we should be able to make comic books like the Europeans are doing in the sense of visually. We should be able to be doing almost feature animated film, quality stuff. And that's what I want to do. I want to do this work, and it's hand painted pulp covers, but it's the whole book. It's every single page. And for however long my eyes hold out, my skill and my brain holds out, I don't know how many years I have to do this and how many stories I have that I'll have enough time to tell. But, I take this stuff with me when I go, so I need your help to make as much of this happen as possible. Come on, 20th, dang it. That's right, the Second Chance campaign for Nosfero the Crypt Walker, as well as the art-only edition, is going to be launching on August 20th, and my man, Mark's Music Obsession, has been waiting very patiently for me to get it together. In fact, when I was working on that campaign and I was telling my wife we're going to launch that soon, the whole reason for doing so was because I was like, Mark needs that book. I was like, I gotta do it. Yeah, have to bounce, y'all. Going to watch some Solomon Kane. Amen. Thanks thanks, Shanth, from the heart of, let's see, have a great day. Absolutely, my friend. You too. Yep, absolutely. Have a great day and peace, Spaceman, indeed. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a really cool book. Yeah, God bless you, Spaceman, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, it's to make something of beauty takes time, and you guys know that. It takes time, and more importantly in this space, it takes faith, because, it is a absolutely enormous undertaking, to do a comic book solo, to self-publish a comic book. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about getting to know other creators is the fellowship and the, Shane said something to me that what I really appreciated, and it may sound simple, but when you're doing a million things, you will forget to do this. And he said, hey, Shanth, I tried to share out your campaign the other day, or on stream, and I saw that usually I go to people's Twitter and they have the new campaign that's coming up pinned as the pinned post in their Twitter. And it wasn't there, and I realized, wow, I haven't done that yet. But it's just having another set of eyes on your stuff to tell you, hey, do that so I can make my job easier. And I really appreciated that, because for some reason, it hadn't occurred to me. Boy, this is a very, very small figure. My God. That is. I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit so you guys can see it. But, like, that is tiny. Tiny, tiny. Gosh, the detail in this is crazy. Yeah. Hold. Launch. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe this time Shanth was... yeah, from your lips to God's ears. I hope so. Oh, my God. That was too funny. I think it was more traumatizing for Mike than... that was the funniest part about it. And that speaks, again, you want to talk about, just the support and the fellowship in this space. I barely knew Mike at that point. And not only did he agree to host the launch of Nosfero, but in addition to hosting the launch of Nosfero, he asked me before the campaign launched, he goes, do you want me to look over your campaign for you? And I just thought, that is so nice. He's like, do you want me to check it and make sure, it's good to go and get another set of eyes on it? Yeah. Unbelievably cool. Unbelievably great people, I mean, it's like, it took me, it took me, almost 48 years to get here? But I am unbelievably happy to be here. It was worth the wait, guys. Meeting all of you guys and doing this stuff is fantastic. Absolutely worth the wait. I mean, my comic adventure, in terms of in its most substantial way, I am so glad that it started with Nosfero the Crypt Walker, because it's the book that I've been trying to make and wanting to make my entire life. Just to get a sense of the scale of detail, take a look at this. Those are my fingernails, and that is that figure. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps. Definitely applies to independent comic creation in Comicsgate. Absolutely applies. Yeah. I was thinking about how long I've been in Comicsgate, and it just doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has been. It's just weird. Like, you know how it is when you get older and you're talking about this kind of stuff. Like, last week could either be the other day or it could be 5 or 6 years ago. Well, that's pretty much where I've been living. What's Tammy got for us? Tammy cracking us up? That's... Dang it, Tammy. Oh, my God. You guys are killing me. Well done, Tammy. You got me. So many campaigns that you can get lost. I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I had, the post that I had up there was the post for, Nosfero is back from the printer and I'm fulfilling. And I just went, oh yeah, I've done that already. And now it's time to, do the next Second Chance campaign. That's the thing I'm going to be promoting. Because I just didn't want to put anything about the Second Chance campaign up until I'd gotten all of these books shipped. And that's just that's my personal thing. If the economics of this are such, and the margins of this are such, that I understand having to have multiple campaigns going at one time. I understand, like, all of that stuff. I'll never think about how other people do things. It was 100% for me to keep it straight in my head. Because this was my third campaign, but this was a bigger campaign with more things in it. So the first campaign was just Art Book 1. The second campaign, some people were ordering Art Book 1 and Art Book 2. This campaign, people were ordering watercolor head sketches, Art Book 1 and 2, Nosfero 1 with a print, interior ink head sketches. There were so many moving parts to it. So many moving parts. It was crazy. I knew you'd appreciate making me laugh, Tammy. Yeah. See, I gotta be careful. Michael just said, it's okay. It happens to a lot of guys. Yeah, that's what he said. He still says that to me about that. Happy to. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, the craziness is 100% acquired. Is really testing those bifocals. These bifocals are, let me tell you something, man. Yeah. 4 fingers, a common monster trope. Yep. But my favorite is the 3 fingers because of Ninja Turtles, man. Yeah, that's why we all get along, Timmy. Yep, we all crazy up in this, bish. Yep, 100%. Ah, ship it, says John. Yep, paging Bancroft. Yeah, I'm streaming during the hours he is asleep. I feel bad for Michael because he's going to see this and go, why did you stream right when I was asleep? It's too funny. He'll know why when he's got his kids going off to college. He's got a few more years to go before he gets there. But I've been parenting for a while. My hours have been all kinds of nuts. That's for sure. But it's the best job in the world. That and making stuff for you guys. That's the fun of this thing. You know, and it's cool. I'm glad I've been streaming for, and I don't mean this particular stream, but I've been streaming for as long as I've been streaming on YouTube. I think I've been doing it for 5 years. And what that basically means is that, and as I'm sure you guys know, you can only pretend to be positive for so long. And that limit of pretending to be positive is definitely does not exceed 5 years. And I've been this person who's been positive, excited about art, excited about you guys and seeing you guys every stream since I came into this place. And I've got a book out there now because you guys have come in and supported me in doing a painted book and said, hey, we want to see this happen. And because of this space. And my gratitude has never wavered. And my enthusiasm for you guys and what we're doing here has never wavered. So I hope you guys know that. It's from the heart. 100% from the heart. And look at that coming together, how small that is. But look at that in the... let me zoom out so you guys can see this. Where do I find that? Okay, let's zoom out so that we're talking about the actual scale here. That is going to be fun. That's one of those things... Yeah, we're all a little mad here. Cheshire Cat, 100%. Yep. Yeah, Rocky shouldn't be sleeping. Yeah, you're right. Mike's sleeping, but Rocky's up for sure. He needs to move to America, and he resolves that issue. Yes, he does. Yeah. Camel has room in his basement. That's right. Yeah, get his golf cart. Oh, my gosh. I think Camel's probably got no room because of the Batman figures. That's what it's about, man. It's about those Batman figures. But yeah, I mean, it's, I remember doing those 2 art books and then just thinking, do I dare to attempt a fully painted comic? And again, I know this might not seem odd to you guys, but, this is the Nosfero, the Crypt Walker, is the first fully painted comic that I have ever done in my life. So not only is it my first creator-owned fully painted comic book, it's my first painted comic book, period. And, yeah, talk about getting in on the ground floor of something. That was a pretty big moment for me, getting that book back from the printer and, getting that stuff all organized. It came out as... I could not have dreamed of it coming out as well as it did. And, yeah, I don't think I've fully processed it yet. So, big moment. And I'm glad I can share all this stuff with you guys, by the way. But yeah, look at how this stuff comes together. It's so fun. I'm wondering if Nosfero will ever go to any really populated areas. That's a really good question, yeah. Yeah, I was so excited. I gave the first copy to my kids. So I gave the first copy to my son, and then because my daughter was, I think, out at dance or something like that as well. But I always give... I think actually I've always historically given them my first 2 copies out of the box. And then the first copy that left our home was given to H.P. Lovecraft, and that video is on my channel. So if you didn't see that post, I did actually film. I went to his grave and left a copy there. So... had to be done for the gentleman from Angel Street. There we go. Now we're cooking. Yeah, that's going to come together nicely. But yeah, I mean, it was wild, and you just don't know how these things are going to go. Because I didn't know if there was going to be an audience for it. And what was so wild is there's a huge audience for it here in Comicsgate. You guys are so well read, and you look at so much interesting stuff. I've actually learned, like, you guys are always making book suggestions and check out this movie. You know how we are here. And yeah, I learned more about the making of that book from being in this space, because people would just say, oh, have you checked out this? You know what you'd really like to check out? Check out this. And man, that's the best stuff. When you've got that going on, when you've got an actual environment where there's passion, excitement, and enthusiasm like we have here, it's great. You can accomplish anything. There we are. Yeah, I'm liking how that's coming out. I like that aspect of playing with the brushes. Have your kids shown interest in drawing? Let's see, and they are as artistic as you. My son actually does 3D artwork, and he worked professionally. He started working professionally in the special effects industry when he was 16. So, but he understands how to do things that I will never understand. And then my daughter, her interest, she can draw incredibly well. She taught herself how to play the guitar, the piano, and she's a dancer, so she can pick up a lot of different stuff. But they both have elements of it. But their direction was like mechanical engineering and dance and all those kinds of things. So yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, no one in my family was an artist in terms of when I was growing up, and yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing. It's like, that's the coolest thing about kids, is they introduce you to stuff you never even thought about. You're like, oh my gosh. Like, I imagine a time, because my son is focused on mechanical engineering at the moment. I imagine there's a time when he's just going to come over to my house and go, I need to fix your car, and just pop the hood open and just be able to do it. Kind of incredible, really. But yeah. I mean, I'm sure we made every effort to push them away from the arts, but they're creative. Yeah, I mean, they're something else, those guys. They're machines, and they're well behaved, thank God. And just really respectful kids. As I was saying to my wife the other night, I go, I don't just love my kids, I like them, which is really great. And if they weren't my kids, they'd be people I'd like to hang out with and be around. So, good stuff. My cup runneth over. There we go. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a really nice little area of visual interest there. Yeah, brace yourself for the day when your son arrives with an Iron Man suit. Like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, kids are great, man. I love kids. They're just, I was a teacher for so long, and my wife's a teacher as well. And I guess I remember when I was young and I went to comic conventions, and I wanted to be an artist. Obviously, I wanted to draw, and a comic book artist would just take some time when I was a kid just to like go, oh, cool. Have you seen this? Would you like, me to do a sketch or something? And I mean, that stuff is huge, that's something that the best teachers have, and it's something I really, took seriously when I was teaching is, just generating or I should say, nurturing that enthusiasm, that work ethic, and that passion. And I've been very fortunate in that way too, to have met some incredibly cool people. But I think, at this stage of my life, the one thing I never really found in academia and certainly in concept art and those kinds of things, because they're very freelance based, is I didn't find really colleagues or professionals I could talk to about these things who could who had valuable advice to give. And having that here in Comicsgate is really incredible. It's invaluable for sure. Here, oh, look at that. I'm actually really excited about this, and sometimes it's being here with you guys. I was looking at this the other day, but sometimes I just come on stream, start painting, and I go, oh, you know what? And I solve stuff, and you guys watch it happen. So amazing. You guys are the best. The worst part of having kids is them growing up. Yeah, I wish I could keep them little forever. Yeah, it's it's the wildest thing, because I was saying, my wife and I were talking the other day, and I said, this is the goal. This is the goal from, when you start with them. You want to help them navigate all of that stuff until they're old enough to where they can take care of themselves. But I will say this, I knew during the time when my kids were growing up, I knew it was precious, I knew it was finite, and I knew to appreciate every single moment of it, all the craziness, all the silliness, all the, the trip to the emergency room, when we cut our finger or this or whatever else. But no matter how much you try to appreciate it, and all that stuff, it's always going to feel like it's over so fast. And that's just the nature of life. It's crazy. I mean, when it starts with twins, you feel like you're like, how am I going to get to the end of next week? I mean, that was just so exhausting. I still think back on that time and I think, my God, there's a video of me, and I was so skinny in my 20s and 30s. Oh my Lord. But there's this video of me sitting on the couch, and the twins are toddlers, and they climb up on the couch, and they're just on the sofa, bouncing on the sofa next to me. And I'm looking at them and I say, oh my God, what have we gotten ourselves into? One of the funniest home videos, I've kind of wondered about those who are artistic, were read to as a child. I wasn't, and have no artistic capabilities at all. I read to my son every night up until he could read, so he's very talented. Yeah, I mean, I think all that stuff helps. Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt at all, right? Who knows? And then there's this other part of it to me that's just a mystery. Like, my wife and I don't know how to dance or do any of that stuff. How does our daughter know how to dance? And we can't do mechanical engineering. How does he know how? It's like amazing. There's my man Diesel. Diesel, it's great to see you, my brother. How are you, my friend? I love seeing you in the chat, man. I hope you're doing real well. Channel member, rock star. Yeah, read a lot, did art, but stop. See, I'm a very slow reader. So, I even made the joke that I can actually write faster than I can read. But, so I've always really admired people who can read fiction and really get immersed in it. I am much more visual when it comes to things like that, as I'm sure you guys could probably guess. But I really admire it. That's why I like audiobooks. But I know most of the people I know who read for pleasure, they can't deal with audiobooks because they want to read it themselves. And, I mean, that's amazing to me. My brother Sean, good to see you. Good to see you too, Diesel. I'm saying hello to Mark and Tammy. That's right. The gang is all here, guys. The gang is all here. Yeah, if they're appreciative at the end, that's probably a good sign of God's parent. Yes, exactly right. Yeah. I mean, I just think that, that's definitely something that I don't know exactly how all of that stuff comes together. Frankly, it's all a little bit of a miracle in the end, but it's, we definitely have modeled appreciation a lot for our kids because we're both very appreciative people. We're just always trying to do the best that we can for folks. And yeah, I think that, yeah. It's, I mean, again, it goes back to everything that we're doing right here and the stuff that I'm writing. What are we going to put out into the world, and what are we going to champion? And, I like to think that one of the things that we are championing here in this space is, merit, quality, certain aspects of traditional storytelling and, skill and imagination. And those things are everything. They're everything for keeping us going and keeping us inspired. I really want to create meaningful escapism for you guys. Let me see here. I feel like I missed something here. That's right. That's right indeed. Diesel's here. Diesel in the house. We few, we happy few. Amen. Amen. Yep. One of the great plays ever, right? John is here too. Right on. Good afternoon, everybody. Timmy Mello says, reading abilities is like attention, where it can be painfully selective depending on how invested you are in the content. Still, thank God for Yeah, read back text-to-speech technology. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that stuff is great. I think all of this stuff is has opened up some of the classic literature. Like whenever people are looking for something to read or something to study, I always go back and try reading the classics if you haven't yet, and if you've read them, read them again. I've been catching up on a lot of classic literature with audiobooks because I can paint and listen to classical literature in general while I work. Somehow, as you know, me talking and painting doesn't seem to cause me a problem. But look at how this stuff is coming along. Look at how we're getting a sense of the space here already. You know, this is going to be a dynamite cover to book 2. And it's a hell of a painting. I cannot wait. I mean, it's these things, I know that may sound, or this may sound strange, but I'm experiencing the painting coming together the same as you guys are. I still don't know where this stuff comes from. I mean, gift from God is, of course, the only explanation I can ever come up with in terms of, you know, where does anybody get an idea from? Obviously, I look at, you know, a lot of great stuff, great literature. I have things that influence me, but I don't know where the heck, you know, where this composition comes from is beyond me. Hey, what's up, Mike Wilson Art? How are you doing? It is great to see you, my friend. Let me see. Everybody saying hello, hello, hello. Yeah, good to listen to audiobooks. Absolutely it is. Yeah, if I type large letters in it, is it louder to me? Yeah, that's right. And hail to you, my friend. Yeah, I'm here and I'm suffering through this summer straight from the depths of Satan's lair. I know, I can imagine. It's intense, hot out there. Reading abilities is like, yeah, okay, good. I got that one. Let me see if I got everything here. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, the info seeps into your brain even if you're not paying the closest of attention. Yeah, there's it's wild because I when I'm watching, you know, movies, or sorry, I had to adjust this. Let me see if I can move the camera just a little bit there. There we go. When I'm watching movies, I always had a really easy time, you know, understanding shots and editing and memorizing that kind of stuff. That was easy for me, but I have to really, you know, it's a struggle for me I can read medical literature and things like that. I always had an interest in, you know, neurobiology, neuroscience, that kind of thing. Like I can read scientific literature, but fiction is incredibly difficult for me to read. And it's like almost as if... And the other weird thing is I really enjoy and had an easy time reading Shakespeare. And I think it has to do with the lack of internal descriptions in that stuff, that everything is very literal and on the surface. My brain seems to react differently to it. So maybe it's the lack of an internal monologue voice or introspection voice. So maybe that's tied to it. I have not figured that out yet. I mean, people are still shocked by that, but I know there's probably a few of you out there who don't have it. I know it's not all of us, but it's got to be some. Where did the iron nose come from Nosfero and its meaning? Wow. Yeah, that was totally one of those things out of thin air, I think. But I was looking at, I think I was looking at some characters and some concept art by Miles, is it Tevis, I think is how you pronounce his name, Teves. And I saw a character with all these crazy tattoos, and he had a bone through his nose. And I'd seen that, you know, in you know, illustrations or National Geographic and everything like that. But it got me thinking about, you know, the ancient nature of Lovecraft and the idea of creating, you know, a hero that in a sense is a supernatural hero, and giving him something visual that felt like he was almost ancient and primal. And so I felt like it would give him a more primal look as a character, and that was what did it, I think. You know, ain't loud enough. Yeah, there you go. That's right. So let me see if I got everything. John is going to buy Nosfero and all the future installments. Don't read this, John. Just yeah, let it seep in. That's right. Thank you so much, Mike Wilson. I appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, it's you know, I love artists like Basil Gogos. I think he's amazing, and his color palette, he just swings for the fences. I like Frank Frazetta, but you know, my biggest influence is still and probably ever more is going to be Alphonse Mucha. I think his color palette and the way that he understood the figure, and his compositions, particularly with his paintings, are just so good. And that's the stuff that inspires me to get up and swing for the fences when I'm doing my work. I mean, I Nosfero was going to get done, and it was going to be a painted book. Let me see if I can get that at a decent angle here. I'm running out of desk space. Oh, there we go. That's better. But it was always going to be a painted book. Actually, I'm going to move myself. I just realized I could do that. I forgot about that. That makes it a little easier. But it was always going to be a painted book. And, I knew I was going to get it done because I'm not the kind of... I'm going to finish it, come hell or high water. But I didn't know what a fully painted comic book in my style and the style I was going for would look like. And in a lot of ways, this is almost easier. This is... because I've already done it once, I know without it, beyond any doubt, that I can do it. And you guys who backed book one, not only did you get it at the best price for that first printing's ever going to be sold for, but that's because you guys, were there when it's never guaranteed. People didn't know, if a creator's going to, finish a book or do whatever, because, that's part of the thing about crowdfunding. It's and that's what makes us, feel that connection when we're in this space. It's different than just going to the shop. You know what I mean? And there you go. That's the inspiration. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is crazy. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm down for some coffee right about now. I can tell you that. But yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I try to imagine it from the perspective of other creators. Too. Who's funny is. The funniest thing about Michael Bancroft is Mike doesn't do traditional work. He does all digital stuff for the most part. I'm sure he does, has done some traditional work and stuff at work and all that other stuff. But he is such a fan of traditional work. It's the funniest thing in the world. He's so passionate about it. And so I knew that he got Nosfero and he got what I was doing from the start. I think that Mel or him were already following me on Instagram, so they already knew my work. They had no idea it was Comicsgate because it was my painted illustration book from the art books. And but I did find myself, I mean, I'd go on streams and on occasion, and I think probably the first time I met Ethan, and it's like, what is this book? And I'm like, it's a fully painted comic book. And you think about it, those things take, as years, or they take, a lot of time to do. And this may have very well been the first one in Comicsgate. Is this the first fully painted comic book in Comicsgate? Is Nosfero? I don't know if there was something that I missed or something like that. But anyway, I can't imagine what they were thinking. Because to me, it's weird, and I'm doing it. I mean, doing painted comics is insane, and it's a pretty tough thing to understand if you're not doing it, and God bless them. I mean, I can't imagine what they were thinking. What is this thing gonna be? Is it gonna have word balloons? How are you doing this? I mean, they've obviously all seen painted comic books before, but still fascinating to me. There we go. Now we're getting the value in there, and starting to see how this comes. Look at that. I mean, it's like a mini opera up in that corner. I'm excited about that. Dang, Mark's music obsession. Drink water. Beware of kidney stones. Amen. Yeah. Oof. Uh-oh. 4th cup of coffee today. There you go. All day, every day. That's what we're talking about. That's right. Yeah, I had tea this morning. Yes, indeed. Soda's more likely for kidney stones, and I'm probably in trouble. Yeah. That's not looking good for me. But, that's the thing. I want the book to be visually inspiring when you look at it. Like when you see beautiful illustrations and beautiful paintings. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to do 33 pages, painted pages, and each one of those paintings is going to have, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 other little paintings inside of it. Oh my gosh. Now it makes sense to me, though. Now that I've done it once, I know exactly what I'm doing. We'll see. You never know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, easy on the caffeine, guys. That's true. Yeah. You gotta drink lots of water for sure. Yeah, drink your water, folks. But just putting this stuff together and seeing this world and this kind of wild operatic space, and then, you know, looking at the characters and everything like that. I mean, I want people to look at these paintings and hear kind of the symphony quality to it. And like I said, put this, you know, it's the cool thing about this format, the 8.5 by 11 format, is that, you know, you put these books on your shelf, you grab them, they're printed on, again, very thick paper. Like, this paper is, see if I can make the paper make a sound here. No, that's not it. Hold on. It's very, very thick paper, and it's just really beautiful. It's like looking at the originals. Without the text, you're going to be able to see it. You know, it's Cranberry Landers knows what I'm talking about. But it's, you know, and here's my wife's introduction to one of my paintings from Art Book 1. It's one of my favorite paintings I've ever painted. I love that painting. It's about being a dad. It's about being a husband, you know, and all that stuff, and taking care of your family. So that's my King Kong painting. But then all of those images, they were designed around the idea of making one image that works. This is orders of magnitude more complicated, you know, to put something together like that. And like I said, get the word out there about the Second Chance campaign for Nosfero, because I'm not going to be reprinting this book for a while. And the link to that is in the description, so you can sign up and make sure you don't miss it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of folks talking about it, but you do not want to miss this. If you want a reader's copy and get that second printing, which is going to have a page in the front of it instead of the signatory page, it's going to have a new piece of artwork in the front, because I want people, when they get a second edition, I want it to be something a little bit different. And the cover art will be the same, but the logo will be slightly different for the oxidized edition. And then there's just going to be just a new kind of front painting in there, which should be fun. I know, Mark, I'm sorry. I don't mean to tease. But yeah, it's going to be something to see, guys. And book 2 is taking everything that happens, you know, in terms of the scale and the sense of adventure and all of that stuff. Everything that happens in book 1 is going to be going up a notch. And you're going to see some of your old favorite characters, and you're going to see a lot of really cool new characters. So, you know, let's keep making comics and artwork and things that are inspiring. Let's keep putting positive stuff out there, guys, and let's see what we can come up with, because there's so much that we can do, and there's so much we haven't done yet. And actually, if you guys want to see a sketch, because you'll be seeing it anyway as I work on it, this is going to be the artwork that's going to be on the inside where the signatory page is. This is going to be the first thing you see when you pull the cover back. I'm going to be creating a new painting for inside of that space, and so that's what it's going to be. And it's going to, as far as Nosfero editions go, this is going to be the only Nosfero book that has it in it. So that's the only way you'll get it. Yeah, and the typo will be fixed with the 2 ands, which drives me absolutely crazy on that page. You know how it goes, Steven. Gotta fix that typo. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so it's going to be really cool, really exciting stuff. And so yeah, there'll be a new painting there. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Cranberry Landers. I really appreciate it. Oh, God bless you. And let me get some cheerleaders coming your way. Here you go. Charge! Charge! No, there's got to be cheerleaders. It has to happen. It has to happen. Yeah, but it's great. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. But guys, I'm wrapping up now. We are at 2 hours. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I've enjoyed being here with you on Saturday. And check out all the trailers that I've got and all of the links for campaigns in the description. Shane Davis's Inglorious Rex 3 is launching tomorrow. I love that book. It's one of my personal favorites. So I'm love to tell you guys about it and share my enthusiasm about it. I hope you will join me in backing that book tomorrow. But have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday and rest of the weekend. And from the heart of Lovecraft country and the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Shanth Enjeti. This is Shanth Enjeti Art. And as I always like to say, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace be with you guys. And I will see you guys soon. So take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Awesome one. Thank you, Mark's Music Obsession. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. You are great, guys. And it's always great to spend a Saturday with you and do some painting and hanging out. So much love, and I will see all of you guys very, very soon. And check out your name in the credits if you're a channel member. Doc Brewski, thank you so much. Timmy Mello, my man, thank you so much for being a channel member. You guys are awesome. Doc Brewski, Tammy, Cranberry Langers, have a great day. Thank you guys. Have a great day, Stephen Rockwood. Indeed, Stephen Rockwood, as always. And look for your names in the credits, channel members, and take care, everybody. Thank you so much.